Hello, everybody. It is Robcast, Prevenge of the Nerd, and it's Rob Sachetto coming to you from another room in my house. This is the room with all the movies in it. Just like you've probably seen a million other podcasters do movie reviews with all their movies in the background. Well, I figured why not do that too. I've got movies, and it kind of shows you that I'm, a little more fanatical about movies than most. Although I have seen a lot of people with tons of movies in their homes, which I think is awesome. I'm one of those I have to have the package. I can't just download it or whatever, have like a bootleg. If something's super obscure and you can't really get it, then I'll settle for a bootleg. But I don't even think I have any out of all the thousands of movies I have. So So anyway, to get to the point, today I'd like to review my first movie on the Robcast program. Maybe I should start doing a British accent like most podcasters do, and be taken a little more seriously. So yeah, next time I'll have a British accent. So the first movie I want to do ever for Robcast is this guy, my favorite zombie movie of all time. I've been asked in a million interviews what is my favorite zombie movie, and it is undoubtedly Return of the Living Dead. And I'll tell you why. I think it is one of the most influential zombie movies of all time. And I know we kind of hear that of Night of the Living Dead a lot. And I mean, Night of the Living Dead is in fact the most influential, because without that, Return of the Living Dead wouldn't have existed. But more to the point, Night of the Living Dead created the modern zombie, the flesh-eating, shuffling groups of zombies that, when you get bit by it, you turn into one too, and so on and so forth. What Return of the Living Dead did, though, was take that model and basically really advance the narrative with it. With Night of the Living Dead, it was, people always say like, oh, well, I love those zombies because they were the slow zombies, and, there's only slow zombies in that movie. It's like, watch the movie again, guys. The first zombie that you see is a pretty fast zombie, man. And it's pretty intelligent too. It uses a rock to try to break into a car, try to break the glass. So a lot of people forget. And here's where I guess movie reviewers and stuff and other people come in, and it's sort of folklore now. People don't watch the things anymore. They sort of just hear it and they just jump on the bandwagon type of thing. But with Night of the Living Dead, yes, there were like some fast zombies in there. There were some rather quick zombies when they're trying to get into the house, the farmhouse and everything. They're pretty spry. They are shuffling around. There's a lot of slow zombies in there, but there are some fast ones too. That first zombie that you see basically in the graveyard is pretty fast. So, anyway, enough about that. Getting to Return of the Living Dead, in as much as it continuing or advancing or even evolving the narrative with Night of the Living Dead, we start out in this medical supply warehouse where these two guys, these two guys are kind of doing work. They're doing a bit of work, and one of them is sort of teaching the younger kid the ropes. And it's sort of, there's so much great foreshadowing that is put in there that you don't really realize is happening, but later on, everything's sort of like, everything is basically said is acted upon or comes to light later on, which is so great. I mean, it's very simple, but at the same time, it's so enjoyable. It is shot and directed. It's so well shot and well directed. Dan O'Bannon directed it. The performances are so great, even when people aren't in focus, not in focus in the camera, but aren't focused on in a scene. they're still acting, which is so great. They're not just sort of standing there like automatons. They're right into it. It's almost like watching a filmed like stage play in a way, not in a bad way, in a good way. So and I have to say, above almost anything else, this movie is thought to be comedic. And like a comedy and maybe a farce or maybe like a satire. I would almost go as far as to say it is a bit of a satire on the genre, but it keeps so well trained and focused on just what people would do in terms of having this zombie apocalypse happen, and it's just like the beginning of it. And it's so well done, and I have to say again, James Cameron's role, this guy should have won an Oscar for his performance in this movie, because it is without a doubt one of the most enjoyable, like over the top. Like you know, you see Nicolas Cage do these crazy Nicolas Cage things. James Cameron, he's an older gentleman. He's a character actor. He's been in many things, but in this movie, you know, he plays the elder sort of guy that works at the warehouse. He's teaching the new kid sort of how to deal with deliveries and things like that. But, you know, once they let out the toxin from the barrel, I'm not going to really talk about too much about like really what happens in the movie. It's just, you know, when they sort of let the toxin out of the barrel and they sort of breathe it in and they start their basic journey into becoming zombies, his performance is, you can't take your eyes off the guy. It is amazing. His manic performance is almost half the enjoyment of this film. There are so many incredible special effects, practical effects. I'm a huge practical effects guy. I love practical effects, you know, like The Thing, American Werewolf in London, things like that. Because I grew up on that, so granted, I come from that sort of world, but I see the difference, right? Because I was indoctrinated on the practical effects, which can be shit too, which can be garbage. You know, I'm not saying all practical effects are fantastic, but in this case, the practical effects are incredible. The character designs are incredible. They were done by a favorite artist of mine, William Stout. I remember seeing for the first time, going through a Starlog, I think, magazine, or Fangoria magazine when I was a kid, and seeing his designs for this movie and being blown away. And that's what literally, again, there's points in my career, in my life, where I would kind of go, that was a game-changing thing, seeing his drawings of zombies. It literally catapulted me again to another level of me wanting to do zombie art. So many great talents in creating this movie. You know, from William Stout doing the character designs to the practical effects to the acting. The story is, you know, the story is one of these stories where you go, that kind of set the basis for so many, like, clandestine military sort of experiments that go wrong, and you know, they create the zombie apocalypse and things like that. So I loved it. I think it's carried on more in the third installment of Return of the Living Dead, not really the second one as much. Second one blew, third one is amazing. I will do that one too. I think that was a phenomenal movie, a great zombie movie. But this movie, guys, you have to see. If you have not seen this movie, I implore you to check it out. It's Return of the Living Dead. There's many sequels that came from it, most of which are shitty. They're horrible. They have none of the magic that's in this movie. And one of the most important things of this film that set it apart from everything and make it the most influential zombie movie of all time is the fact that I can do this. Brains. And you know exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to act like a zombie. Any person, any layman out there in the world who says brains like that, you know immediately that they're trying to act like a zombie. Where did that come from? This movie. This was the movie that basically created or enforced or determined that phrasing of the word brains as you being a zombie. So I would almost go as far as to say it was it had even more influence on that sort of level than Night of the Living Dead. Now, I'm not saying Night of the Living Dead wasn't influential. It was the most influential, bar none. I am not taking anything away from that movie. I love that movie, and I will review it as well. And but in terms of like having that sort of impact, it is huge, because everybody knows when you say brains like that, you're a zombie, man. That's it. So, and again, there's so many gems, so many amazing parts, set pieces in this film. You'll be sucked in right from the beginning and right to the very end. It's one of those things that just rapid fire goes. There's, super tense, incredibly cool violence in it. Sex, you see Linnea Quigley in all of her glory, which is utterly fantastic. You have to, I don't care who you are, you have to appreciate her for that performance that she does too. Every character, man, just had such a lasting impact, and at the end of the day, when you finish watching this movie, you'll be talking to your friends. Like, if you're watching it with friends, you'll be discussing this one. You'll be going, "Oh, when this happened, that was so cool." When the pitchfork, or when the Tarman's head, got knocked off the baseball bat, or there's so many things that happen. The Tarman again is another like incredible creation, in terms of like special effects and just design. So yes, guys, I give this movie, if I'm going to do a rating system, I'm going to do a 5-star rating system, 5-finger rating system, because I have no technology here. I'm giving it 5 stars out of 5 for what it does, for what it intended to do, and for what it will do to you watching it. Enjoyment factor, it is just incredible. Give it a watch. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel, the Robcast channel, Prevenge of the Nerd. I would really appreciate that. I will be able to do more and more and more. Hopefully, entertain you guys and educate too, in terms of like just letting you know what's out there. Like, I've got tons of movies you probably not even heard of, and I'll give you the skinny on them, and I'll let you know how they are, if you should even watch them, or what mood to watch them in, or what wine to have when watching them. So I really hope you dig this video, guys. Remember, brains, and please subscribe, like, and I can't wait to see you next time. I'm going to do 2 videos next week. I'm going to give you an update on the Lego hospital. Hopefully it'll be done by then. I'm going to show you some new Lego stuff, and I'll do another podcast, and maybe another movie review. Who knows? I love doing movie reviews. I sat down and watched Return of the Living Dead last night, just to, not like I needed to, but I wanted to. So anyway, I hope to see you guys again soon. Please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you again next week. All right. Bye for now.